so much and welcome everyone. It is so great to be able to host this webinar on today. We are especially excited to have some very outstanding partners with us. As many of you know, we have been long-time partners with the 10,000 Small Businesses program here in Philadelphia. We are celebrating our 10th year. And so this has been an outstanding partnership. The other reason today is so special is because I've had the opportunity to work with the panelists and particularly Therese Flaherty. So I'm going to introduce Therese, and Therese will then introduce our panelists. I have had the benefit of working with Therese longer than I think either one of us want to admit. But when PIDC is introducing initiatives, it is important for us to know who we're dealing with, because there are so many programs, there are so many people who say they do one thing, but deliver something very different. And so for PIDC to put our name and reputation on the line, we have to make sure that we're dealing with people who are people of integrity, who can deliver on what they promise without any kind of spectacle, without any type of doubt. And so this initiative is extremely important for PIDC. And so we want you to know that we have put our full faith and confidence in the Advisory Network for Small Business as another important and vital critical tool for your growth. For Therese, I started working with Therese many years ago when she was the director of the Wharton Small Business Development Center out of the University of Pennsylvania, the Wharton School of Business. In that capacity, Therese introduced and implemented initiatives and programming that have helped hundreds and hundreds of businesses in this region. She's worked managing some of the MBA students at the Wharton School in delivering very critical information to the businesses. Once she decided to retire from the Small Business Development Center, she then took all of those years of expertise to help NAWBO, the National Association of Women Business Owners, with their Athena PowerLink program. She has now even expanded the work that she was doing there and helped create and be a co-founder of the program that we are introducing you to today, which is the Advisory Network for Small Business. So it is always a high honor and pleasure for me to work with Therese, knowing that everything she does in excellence. And so with that, I am turning this program over to my good friend, Therese Flaherty. Therese, take it away.
Whoa, Marla, thank you for that introduction. Let me just say, it's because we have good friends that we are all able to really make a difference in the city. And with our networks of friends and professional friends, People Build Businesses and our advisory network for small business aligned with PIDC and 10,000 small businesses is able to make a difference. Now I'm going to share my screen. I believe I have the right one here. Be patient for just a second. Oops, please. Okay, so here we are today with PIDC, and our organization is the Advisory Network for Small Businesses. And what we do is help established businesses in Philadelphia grow your business by virtue of an advisory team where we on our board use our network to help you grow and have a team to do that. We'll tell you a bit about how to do that in a moment. Here's who we are today. You can see my picture. And Fran McNeil, whom a number of you know, is the executive director of Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses here in Philadelphia. Neil Perry is on the ANSB board He's an entrepreneur as well as on the board and a real philanthropist and leader in helping business owners. And Adina Silverstein is also an entrepreneur. She's a graduate of the 10,000 Small Business Program and of the predecessor of the Advisory Network for Small Business. She had an advisory team, and she's going to tell us about her business, Queenie's Pets. You will have to stand in line if you want her services, as I understand it. And she'll tell us how an advisory team made a difference for her. And Neil will be talking both about our program and so on. Our agenda for today is going to leave a lot of time for your questions and answers. What we're going to do is start with introductions. That is, I'm going to, and Marla and Jasmine are going to help me ask each of you to speak, not just put your information in the chat, but all to speak with us and tell your colleagues here about your business and about what you're interested in knowing today in particular. We have at the moment, I think, a good number of people, but it'll be very interesting for you to network and also for us to know what it is you're interested in. Then Neil will talk about our program, the Advisory Network for Small Businesses. Fran is going to talk about the benefits of an advisory team, and she's also going to talk about Goldman Sachs, because you very often find that putting these two programs together, Goldman Sachs, 10,000 Small Business, and an advisory team, is just a terrific way to move forward very quickly. So depending on where you are, you might plug into Philadelphia's growth programs with one or both of us. Then Adina will talk about her experience as an entrepreneur. Neil will talk about his, and we'll have a good deal of time for Q&A. We'll follow up with next steps if you're interested in either of our programs. And within the next day or two, our colleagues at PIDC will send you a copy of these slides, so don't worry if you don't get all the information down, as well as some information about how you can contact us. So our next piece is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Marla and Jasmine, I know I will not be able, I can call on people from the chat. Marla, you might have to do it, or Jasmine, unless you make me a co-host. How do you want to do that, Jasmine?
Sure, I'm happy to help. If you are able to call on them, I'm happy to unmute and allow folks to talk.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
And I can also make you co-host as well. You can do either.
Well, no, I love it that you'll take care of it.
Okay.
So one of our challenges in Zoom meetings, as I am sure everyone knows, is that all the pictures change all the time. So, in fact,
I'll keep up with you. I got it.
Would you? So I'm looking at our list, and what I'll do is I'll ask our client participants to introduce themselves briefly and why they're here. And I'll mention two people. One, the next person who will be on my list, at least, Abigail Marachi, and I hope I've pronounced that correctly. And the next person, it would be, is it Gina? Olivia? You're going to correct me, please, when Jasmine asks you to, gives you the speaking stick. So would you give Abigail the first opportunity to speak, Jasmine, and then Jenya, and then I'll move to the next person.
Sure, and thank you again for everyone for coming today. And for those who didn't meet me, I am Jasmine Walker. I'm the Director of Marketing Communications for PIDC. Looking forward to hearing from you too. So Abigail, you're the first one up. You can unmute and introduce yourself.
I will definitely unmute. Thank you very much. I just want to let everyone know that I did type my information into the chat, but I do believe I went to panel. So should I be putting my information into everyone?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that. And I'm the founder of Accelerated Instructional Media. We've been in business for 16 years. In 2022, we were planning on transitioning with a subsidiary. We did do that, in fact, and in 2023, we are going live with that. So we create instructional design materials for organizations and educational institutions on the back end, mostly known for instructional design and strategy training development. On the front end of our subsidiary, we are now going to be doing these workshops and events live here in Leesport and also virtually. So we're in transition. I do have one question about why I'm here today is I want to learn as much as I can to build my business acumen. And Frances, I'm going to actually point this question to you is I'm in the middle of the process. I got the date for my interview for 10,000 small businesses. So am I double dipping here? Should I log off or should I stay on?
No, double dipping is perfect for ice cream, and as it relates to business education, totally appropriate. So I would recommend that you participate in 10KSB, get all that you can out of it, and then after you graduate from 10KSB, you will probably find that ANSB is a wonderful supplemental program because it will provide you with your very own customized advisory board. And you'll know how to take advantage of that because you will have had 14 weeks of a free peer-based learning education program.
Outstanding. Thank you. You clarified that
Sure.
articulate and just thank you. Hi, everyone.
Thank you, Abigail.
Thank you, Abigail. And Jean Ritchie Nicholas, will you get ready to speak after Jenya introduces herself? And
Awesome.
please, how do we pronounce Jenya?
Yes, Jenya, you should be allowed to speak right now.
Hello, everyone. It's Genya Gliva.
Jenya,
Yes,
Thank you.
pronounced like Kenya with a G.
Got
thank
it.
you for that pronunciation. Beautiful name.
Thank you. I am the owner of Advanced Skincare Solutions, Philadelphia. About 3 years ago, I had bought out the previous owner, but then had moved up to Vermont. And I was the lead esthetician. And then COVID had happened, so we were shut down for a while. And I just really am good at my job. I'm a good esthetician, but I am not the best at running my business. This is all very new to me. And when I had first started, it was a little tricky with COVID and being shut down for almost 9 months, located in the city. And so I'm really trying to get things in full gear now. I'm not super happy with my accountant. I think I need to figure out some things with that. Advertising is huge. We have a lot of competition in the city in regards to skincare. And I think myself and my team are really great estheticians, but I think we need to be seen a little more and working a little harder to expand and really iron out all the kinks.
Great.
Well, we're glad you're here with us today, Genya.
We
Thank
are, Genya, and you may well be one of those, you may well be ready for 10KSB. And if you're not, what you need to know is you probably want to work towards it.
Absolutely, yes.
And if you need advice to work towards it, we're here to help you figure out how to do that.
Thank you. I
How to
think
work
I'm running a
towards
little
it.
antiquated at this point. So
Sure. So you just get in touch with one of us and we'll help you figure out what the help is there.
thank you.
And I think Jean is going to speak next, but I don't know who the person who runs JM Strategy LLC is, but if you could be the next person to introduce yourself, that would be great. So right now, Jen.
Jen, okay. Jen, you should be allowed to talk now.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So hi, I'm Jen Ritchie Nicholas. I'm CEO of Pixel Parlor. Fran, you probably remember Andrew from 10KSB a few years back.
Yes, one of my favorites, although I'm really not allowed to say that.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude. I'm also sitting on the board of Sustainable Business Network of Philadelphia, which supports my business because we are not only a woman-owned business, but a certified B Corp. We are a branding and design studio in Philadelphia, and our vision, our mission is to be a great design studio for the greater good. Our clients run the gamut. They're from the smallest startup not-for-profit to large international multinational corporations and everything in between. But we tend to align ourselves with businesses who want to amplify their impact towards better global change, right? We all need a little bit of positivity in our lives these days. So things have been okay. Things were great before the pandemic. Let me just say, life was good. We were cruising along, making money, not trying that hard. And then the delightful pandemic came and made things a little bit more complicated. My husband had since moved on to another venture, and I took over the business about a year and a half ago. And it's been incredibly rewarding. I'm doing as much training as I can. I went through ICIC and a whole bunch of other things. But, it just seems ever more complicated running a service-based business that's tied to the market panics and figuring out how to weather those storms in these uncertain times. So it feels like we made it. We made it through the pandemic, but like, what the heck are we doing now?
Right. Well, we hope you'll see some things you might be able to take advantage of, Jen. And this Therese, I think we've talked once or twice.
Yes.
Well. So let's see. Next is going to be the person who runs JM Strategy, and Joan will be the person who introduces herself after that. Who's running JM Strategy?
Yes, and thank you, Jen. JM Strategy, you should be able to speak now.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. My name is Didi. I'm the managing director over at JM Strategy, and we're a small crisis management firm. So before COVID, I feel like people did not understand, well, what is crisis management? Crisis management is that thing, when your whole life falls apart and then you just don't know how to move forward. That's what we do. So like everyone, before the pandemic, we're doing fine, we're doing great, we're able to travel to clients, and of course that had to stop. So I think the challenge for us, it has been to just figure out how to do a few things virtually, which we were not, it's very difficult, but people are, because we have to work with client and there's a lot of sensitive data. So clients are uncomfortable, let's put it that way, to talk about certain things and not have us come to their offices. That thing is like, oh, I don't know, we have that team, we never see them here. We don't like that. So I think it's been very difficult for us to then say, okay, how can we change the dynamics and be able to support clients, even if we're doing from a distance. And so that's the small thing that I can say. Our goal is really to just be able to be a little more visible. I know that social media is important. People keep talking about it. But again, because of the nature of the work that we do, it's very important for us to remain discreet, because no one wants to advertise that they're going through a tough time, as you can imagine, right? So we help people, in a nutshell, we help clients so that they can manage their team, time, and money better. And those are all sensitive topics, and it makes it very challenging to figure it out as a service-based firm, how to maintain and continue growing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And I think we think you'll be very interested in what you hear about these programs. So our next person to introduce herself is Joan, and then Lorenzo Henderson. Joan?
Okay. So Joan, you should be allowed to talk.
Hi, can you hear me?
You can.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm Joan Francie. I'm founder and CEO of AdMed. I am a graduate of France, so really good to see you again. And I run a business. I founded and run a successful business in Center City, Philadelphia. We're in the Wanamaker building. We're expanding our space. I have about 50 employees that live in the city or nearby areas. And I developed and you may even remember this, Fran, when it was one of my goals when I was in the program, and a chatbot a few years ago. I'm an IBM partner, and I was really honored to be awarded one of the Global Women in AI by IBM, which was for a small business. Really, I was really honored. And I developed a chatbot using artificial intelligence that could read prescribing information. I should back up and tell you that my company trains on drugs approved by the FDA to pharmaceutical and biotech companies. And we work for all of the pharmaceutical companies in the area, you know, Merck, AbbVie, many of them. But this chatbot, it can read prescribing information for a drug and answer any question accurately. And I've sold it to a number of pharmaceutical companies. So what I wanted to know today, and the help that I need, is I am a women-owned small business. This product is very unique. And now with ChatGPT coming out and all the attention to that, I feel like ours is a little bit different because, you know, we know how to write medical information. So every line is referenced with trusted references. Everything that we do gets filed with the FDA. So we have a niche and a chatbot that we created. And what I am looking for is ways to scale, because I don't have enough people to develop this product. We started, you know, sort of a skeleton crew, and we have a lot of business coming in, and all my people are taken care of, and I'm struggling to like try to bring in new people just for my business that's growing. But what I'd like to work with the advisory board on is, I'm a business in Philadelphia, a tech science business that's creating a lot of really desirable jobs. I need help to scale. I have a product that big companies have bought, but I don't have enough people to help me get it to that next stage. And I really think there's a lot of promise for that. So that is why I'm coming today, and that would be what I'm interested in. Thank you.
Exciting. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Really look forward to talking to you about it and seeing if we can get you in touch with people who can really help.
Thank you.
Lorenzo, I think you are next, and I'm going to ask Jasmine to check and make sure that I haven't missed anybody.
Yes, we have a couple people, Marilyn as well. So we'll
Okay,
go ahead
so
with Lorenzo.
Lorenzo's next, and then Marilyn.
Hello.
Hi, Lorenzo. I can hear
Hello,
you.
everybody. I'm Lorenzo Henderson. My company is Ace of Diamond Construction. I started out as a union carpenter for 26 years, and you know, I started my company in about maybe 7 years after I got into the union, and then I was mostly doing residential. Now I'm at the point where I'm trying to get well, I am focusing more on commercial construction now, so I'm kind of looking for funding for working capital. And I'm also part of the Goldman Sachs. I'm waiting for my interview also. So what else?
It's great.
That's pretty well. Like I said, we do residential and commercial. Oh, and you know, I have my certifications, you know, and licensed and bonded. So I'm just, you know, ready to go with that. Oh, and then what I was looking for from the program was like, it's a couple of union contractors that I know, and maybe if I, you know, maybe find some way to maybe, you know, use them as advisory, you know, advisors and things like that. Maybe, you know, I talk to them from time to time, just, you know, to see what their experiences are and see if I can avoid some of their mistakes and things like that. So that's what I'm, you know, looking for to grow to grow the commercial side of my business, basically.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think you're doing the right thing to go through Goldman Sachs and first and then we will be here for you, all of us.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, and Jasmine, who I guess we have Marilyn next. And is Caitlin still on? I'm not sure.
Yes, we have a few people who moved around. So we actually have Marilyn Benthal. Please excuse me for any mispronunciation. We'd love to know. And Stephen, Tommy, and Sylvia.
Okay, so I'm going to let you drive it because I can't see anyone else.
I got you. I have a
Thank
few
you.
folks that just hopped in and some hopped out, so we had some switch over there. So next we will hear from Marilyn. So Marilyn, I am going to unmute you in just a moment. You should be able to talk.
Hi, everyone. My name is
Hi.
Marlon Anderson.
Marlon.
Yeah, no I. So
Ah.
yeah, no I on me. So I am not currently a small business owner. I'm logging on to this webinar strictly for informational purposes, just to find out more about small businesses and the processes, and just to get information that I could, because I want to start a small business in Philadelphia. Currently, I'm in New York City. I'm working. And I have family who just relocated to Philadelphia. So that's in the plan in the future to relocate to Philadelphia and be with my mom. So this is one of the options that I want to consider, is actually starting a small business. So thank you for your time.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the correction on name spelling. I get it often myself too. My name's spelled J-A-Z-M-U-N-D and people still call me Jasmine. So I get it. I apologize for that. Marlon, thank you so much for sharing for me. We will go on to our next person. I'd love to hear from, we have initials BJC. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly too. So you're allowed to speak.
Looks like it's still showing as mute.
Yes, if you can you speak for us now? And it's last name Chall. Okay, we will come back to them. Next person would be Stephen. So Stephen, I'm going to unmute you in a moment. We'd love to have you introduce yourself. Stephen, go right ahead. Okay. Make sure they can unmute. And that's okay, Stephen. We can come back to you too. Next would be Tommy. And Tommy, are you able to unmute for us and introduce yourself?
Can you hear me now?
You can.
Oh, very good. Sorry, my name's Tommy McCann. I'll just keep it short. I have a landscape business that I took over from my father in the Lower Merion area. I have a building in Germantown Ave in North Philly, just above Temple. I'm trying to figure out how to get the building going. I've been living there for about 5 years now, and it's still in gut condition, and I'm working on permitting right now. But I have a whole lot of ideas and questions about how do I tie in ideas and interests with the landscape business in Lower Merion and still have presence in Philadelphia, and I just don't know the answers yet. So I'm looking forward to setting up meetings and talking further. So thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Hope this is helpful for you today. Also, we have next on the roster, Sylvia.
Hi, everyone. Glad to meet you all. This is Sylvia Garcia. I'm with Connect the Dots. This is a small firm focused on community engagement. And that's the work that we do. It's a firm that got started back in Dublin, in Ireland. Then one of the co-founders moved back to the US. And yeah, we started operations here in 2019. We have like a growing phase happening since last year. And we're looking forward to do some work around governance and how to incorporate voices in a board, both from a business perspective and also from the community perspective, since given the nature of the work that we do. So really looking forward to learning and sharing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for sharing that. We're glad you're here with us today. All right, so we do have a couple more people who we didn't get a chance to get to, and you're welcome to speak. We'd love to hear from you. So we have Tommy, we also have Stephen, and who else am I missing? If you did not introduce yourself, feel free to get in our chat. And we have last name Charles. You can, either one of those, you're welcome to introduce yourself. If not, no worries. You're welcome to also use our chat box to introduce yourself. So Therese, I will throw it on over to you again.
Thank you. Well, welcome to all of you. I think you'll find that you learn a lot, learn about some programs as well as some businesses that might be helpful to you. And as I mentioned before, Benthel has his hand up.
Yes,
So
I was
maybe
just
he's
about to
gonna
say,
speak.
we have one hand up. Would you like to speak for us? You should, I asked to unmute. You should be able to unmute and speak. Yes, we can hear. There we go.
My name is Bento Jincha. I'm just about grants and opportunities.
Oh, it seems it's cutting off here. I don't know if it's on my end. Would you repeat one more time for us? I apologize.
No. My name is Bento Jincha. I'm interested. I'm interested about grants and opportunity to my business.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I want to make sure I hear you just fine. I apologize. It seems we may have some technical difficulties. But in the interim, would you mind actually placing that information in the chat so that we can have a little more information about you? It just seems like it's a little bit of a cutoff on the audio there. Thank you so much for your patience and sharing with us. But yes, please place that in the chat. We'd love to know about that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I heard the thank you loud and clear. We appreciate it. Okay, so we be looking for that information in the chat. And if there are any others that would like to also say anything, please raise your hand before we go on. I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Okay, all right. Stephen, I do see your raised hand. You're allowed to talk.
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, I'm Steven. Nice to speak with you all. Yeah, no, I came in to tune in to hear about ANSB and different programs, as well as to hear about the different needs that entrepreneurs are looking for in the area. I work at Community First Fund, so I just came in to tune in and see what's going on.
Perfect. We're so glad you joined us, Stephen. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Our pleasure. All right, Therese, I think we have everyone. Thank you, everyone. I'm so glad to meet you, and we hope that you continue the conversation and networking beyond today's workshop.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Jasmine, and thank you everybody for coming. And I think it is always very helpful to hear who the other people are, who are here and are interested in this program, and it's going to help all of your speakers answer some of the questions as we speak. So I'm going to now move to Neil, who will, Neil, I'll advance your slides. Just let me, if you'll talk about, we would appreciate it, the Advisory Network for Small Business, what our programs can do and how they might be helpful to some of the people here.
That's great. Thanks, Therese. We'll go through a number of slides that really hopefully will outline for you exactly how it operates, how the Advisory Network for Small Business is designed to help small and growing businesses reach that next level. It's important to note that we are an all-volunteer organization. We're a nonprofit. We're comprised of a great group of business executives, previous owners, entrepreneurs, corporate types, all sorts of individuals are part of our team, and we're all committed towards helping you grow your business. That's really what our goal is. The way we do it is by providing information in a variety of subjects to help you. So we figure out what your business needs. Then we have experts in the human resource category, in marketing, in finance, operations, strategy, all the different business acumen. We have representatives on our board or in our network that could be available to you to help you grow the business. And it's not only growth, we also want to help you with profit to make sure that your business is generating the income to correspond with rapid growth. Next slide there, Therese. There we go. Now there's a number of ways you can get advisory support. I'll go through 3 other ones that are available. One is you could just hire a consultant. Now, a consultant would have to be well disciplined in a lot of different categories to be a benefit, but unfortunately, they can be quite expensive. When I started my business back in 2007, that was the route I took, and while it was very helpful, it was very expensive. Another way you can get assistance is by going into peer CEO support groups. These are opportunities for other CEOs to tell you about what they did when facing certain problems, how they dealt with some of the challenges, some of their successes, and perhaps even some of their failures. These groups are often run by a professional group leader. When you get bigger, there's the board of directors approach. These actually are a board that's made up not only to advise, but to make decisions on behalf of a company. They have fiduciary responsibility. They're in charge of the budget, and they're representing really the shareholders of the company. And as a result, that's why they're selected by the shareholders. But what we're proposing and what we have available to you is an advisory team approach. We focus 100% on your business and your role as the CEO. We provide advice, direction, and thoughts to consider, but we don't make the decisions for you. You'll have to determine the direction you want to go. We'll just give you our best thinking. And the nice thing is we will pick out 4 to 5 business executives or leaders to work with you. So if you're struggling with marketing, if you really haven't been able to tie up sales, if your operations are a little crazy, if your finances, is not operating the way you want, we're there with experts available to help you making those decisions and growing your business. Next slide. So there's a whole bunch of benefits that are related, and I have them in 2 categories here, but the first level on that first column is it's a sustained focus on your business. So these 4 or 5 executives are really digging into your business and figuring out how they can help you. We're a great sounding board for new directions you want to go, new products you want to offer, new services you want to consider. We have expertise and experience. We're a very credible group. You can see when you go to our website what our background is. It's very complete and very successful. We operate on a totally confidential basis. So anything you share with us won't go anywhere other than the meeting that we're in with you. And the people who are selected to be a part of your advisory team are committed to help you succeed. And whether that succeed is higher levels of growth, improved profits, or a better operating system, well, we're here to help. When you get into it a little bit further, though, from specific benefits, what we try to do is have the CEO working on the business and not in it. Oftentimes, when you're running a small to mid-sized business, you're so caught up with the day-to-day management of it, you're not able to step back and take a look at the bigger picture and figure out how you can make that business better for the future. We will work with you to try to develop a business plan to grow your sales. And importantly, we'll also look at your operations and your profitability and see if we can put some improved processes in place so that it'd be one less thing for you to deal with, one less thing to keep you up at night. And then finally, when you have these 4 or 5 people on your advisory team, you also have their network. So each of us has a number of people in the category that we can refer you to for additional help additional guidance, our network becomes your network. And that really improves your ability to face challenging programs in the future. Therese, next one. There we go. I want to talk a little bit about how it all comes together. The first step is a rather thorough interview with a mentor, one of our board members. Usually it takes about 2 hours. Sometimes it happens in person, sometimes it's done by Zoom. There's always a defined agenda where we want to go through some points with you. But at the end of that meeting, we'll be able to identify the types of business advisors you need most. And again, we have coverage on all the categories. So once you have that done and we know the kind of help you're going to need, that's when we start moving into a quarterly meeting. And these quarterly meetings are usually done on Zoom. We could also do them in person. All 4 or 5 of your advisors will be present at that time. We'll really work with you to make sure it's a convenient time and an opportunity for you to really participate in the meeting. And then finally, just on an ongoing basis, what are the things we look at in this meeting? Well, we always are reviewing financials. Every business we've dealt with, it's critically important that they have a clear understanding of their financial situation. But then we'll also be giving you homework assignments or opportunities to either improve your processes, to make some steps in marketing, to figure out maybe a merger opportunity. And we'll ask you to report back on the things that you did that quarter to address those opportunities. And then finally, we use this meeting as an opportunity to discuss, what challenges have popped up in your business that you need help with, that we really want to address and give you some assistance. So think about it this way. We're going to help you refine your strategy. We're building you a vast network of people who are around and available to assist. We'll look at best practices. We'll help you solve the problems you're faced with. And along the way, we'll even help you with building your team out and learning leadership skills that'll help you along the way. So I mentioned you're going to have a mentor assigned. That'll be one of our board members who will do the initial meeting and work with you in selecting the right advisors to get things done. You'll have 4 or 5 advisors. Typically, there'll be someone from finance. Everyone seems to need a little assistance with marketing. But operations, HR, I heard some comments in the chat about finding enough people, finding the right people, building your business through people. We could assign an HR specialist who could work with you. Now, these are very honest, open professionals. They're going to tell you exactly how they see it. A little bit of tough love now and then will be coming your way. But these are people who have gone to where you want to go. They've been successful. They've built a business. They've sold a business. We can give you our perspectives, our wisdom, and our ideas. The advisory team will work with you for 1 full year. Now, I mentioned it's a quarterly meeting schedule, but let's say, by example, you have a big sales meeting coming up and you need some help with the sales brochure. You can call on one of the board members for an additional additional conversation to help you guide you on creating that impactful sales piece. Now, in all of our meetings, we spend a lot of time trying to define exactly where we want to go with the meeting. We ask that you be open to diverse perspectives and ideas. We always want the entire advisory board available with you for the meeting. I mentioned before about confidentiality. I'll mention it again. Because we need a lot of your business information to guide you effectively, you need to know that we will respect the confidential nature of everything that you give us and share with us. And then finally, the CEO, as the leader of your company, you're going to have to be engaged and willing to act on many of the issues we talk about in the advisory board. That's the only way you can really move things ahead. Eligibility. Here's what we're looking for. For a service business, you should have revenues of 250,000 plus. If it's a manufacturing business, we're looking for annual revenues of $400,000 plus. And we need 2 full-time employees or equivalent. And that could include the owner. And we also like to have you in business for 3 or more years. The advisory team is not really designed for startups. The advisory teams are designed to take a business that maybe is stuck on neutral, and help get you moving forward to build your business. We are always looking for coachable, growth-minded owners and entrepreneurs. That's how we get things done. There are some fees, and this is only to cover some of the administrative costs, but I did want to point that out. If you're less than $500,000 in annual revenues, we'll ask you to contribute $1,200 to ANSB to cover administrative costs. Remember, all ANSB members are volunteers, but there is a lot of admin work that has to get done. So we try to cover those costs this way. $500,000 to $1 million in revenue, the fee would be $2,000. And if you're over 1 million, the fee would be $3,000. So for $1,200, you're literally getting 5 senior executives working on your business over the course of a year. Seems like a small price to pay. Now, during the application process, as I mentioned, you and your mentor are really going to dive into what your needs are. So we're going to want to know what your opportunities are for growth, how you see it, how the team could be beneficial to you, and what the makeup should be. What expertise do you need on your team? What specific challenges do you want to address? And obviously the best time to get started with this. So we would have to round up the advisors, so that takes us a little bit of time. But on your end, you may have to wait till a slow period in your business where you could dedicate some time and activity to this, as opposed to going into the pre-holiday sales season when you make most of your money. You know, that really would be damaging to you and your business. And I think that's almost it. It is.
Yes,
You're
it
up.
is. Thank you. Thank you so much, Neil. There's a lot there. So let me assure everybody, we will send out these slides so you'll be able to take a look, and you'll have a chance, jot down any questions you have for Neil for during the Q&A period. Okay, so our next speaker is Fran McNeil, who knows both Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses and ANSB really well. And I know she's going to tell you both when can and for whom can each of these programs be helpful to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Therese. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It is very exciting to see people in different stages of your business. And so I will throw in a bonus program because I know that there's at least one person on here that's thinking about starting a business. So I am Fran McNeil, the Executive Director of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Program at the Community College of Philadelphia. So I first want to say that the Community College of Philadelphia has a number of programs to help small businesses. And if you're based in Philadelphia and you have revenues less than $1 million and you've been in business for at least 1 year, you in fact could join the Power Up Your Business program. And that is designed for Philadelphia-based businesses. And if you need more information, I can share that with you. The program that I'm involved with is a 14-week free business education program. It's funded by the Goldman Sachs Foundation, and Community College is one of 19 sites that offers the program. And it is designed for businesses that meet 5 criteria. The first is that the business owner or co-owner must go through the program. The second is that the business must be in business for at least 2 years. And so this is not a program for startups. It's a program for existing businesses that have sort of, ran their business for a few years and recognize that they need some assistance. The third is that you must have 2 or more employees. And that's because it's an intensive program. It's 100 hours of education in the classroom and roughly 100 hours of time that you spend outside of the classroom, whether it's working on your growth plan, whether it's meeting with cohort members or growth group members or meeting with your business advisor. So it really requires dedication of time and energy. The fourth is that you really must be coachable, and your business must be a business that you want to grow. So if you're interested in sort of doing more of the same and adding another training program to your checklist, this is not the right program. So again, it's peer-based learning. So there is a set curriculum, and it's a very interactive full day. We start at 7:45 in the morning. We go straight through to 5:30 in the evening. We do feed you breakfast and lunch. We do give you 2 quick breaks, but the fact of the matter is you're on. When you step through those doors, the Center for Business and Industry, that is it. You are on, the pedal is to the metal. So, and then the fifth criteria is that we want to make sure that your revenues are such that you have experience in running your business. So post-pandemic, the criteria is that you must have at least 75K in revenues the previous annual year. And we take businesses that have up to 10 million in revenue. On average, businesses enter the program at the $1 million mark. However, businesses can range from a variety of previous year annual revenue. So those are the criteria. The benefits of being in the program are the fact that you are not working alone in your business. So peer-based means that you're part of a cohort. Everyone goes through the same classes at the same time. Again, it's about 14 weeks worth of instruction. You're getting to interact with other CEOs throughout the day. You have a chance to ask questions, to listen to others, to work on projects together. And outside of the classroom, to really apply that information to your own business. And then as a deliverable for the program, you create a growth plan. So our goal is to not only help you think about your business and look at your business differently, and we want to help prepare you for the next thing in your business. So what's a new product, a new service, or a new market that your business could enter into that would generate at least 10% of your current annual revenue? And so we literally have you create a plan in order to do that. And in doing so, you're taking all the information that you've learned from the classroom, that you've learned from other people, other business owners, and creating that growth plan. So that's a little bit about 10KSB. We've worked with, in the last 9 years, we're entering our 10th year, we've worked with over 768 small businesses from the Philadelphia area and eastern side of Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey, and Delaware. And when we first started, we were even drawing businesses from Baltimore, and we've had 2 businesses that have come down from New York because they wanted to do business in the Philadelphia area to participate in the program. So not only do you get to be part of this learning community, once you graduate, you're part of, at this point, a 13,000 US-based alumni community. So there's a separate portal where you can share information, ask questions, get access to workshops, and continue to grow your business and grow your network. So that's a little bit about 10KSB. And fortunately, we have on this webinar an alum, Adina, who will tell you a little bit more about her experience. And then I want to make the connection to ANSB. Neil gave you a very comprehensive overview of the process and identified when he first started, he said when he started his business, he had to pay for consultants. And the advantage of ANSB, particularly if you've already completed the 10,000 Small Businesses program, is that you are used to sharing information. You're used to looking at your business with a strategic eye. You have created a growth plan. And ANSB, the Advisory Network for Small Businesses, gives you an opportunity to have that focused support from 5 professionals who are looking at how to help you and advise you in your business's growth. So you have a team of people that are meeting with you on a regular basis and holding you accountable to what you say is important to you. And again, what I'm going to do, and we'll have time for question and answers, is I'm going to turn it over to Adina, who will tell you a little bit about her experience in 10KSB and also her experience in leveraging an advisory board and the difference that it's made for her as she continues to grow her business, Queenie's Pets. Adina? Woohoo! So if you take yourself off mute, we'll be able to hear you roar or bark.
Thanks so much, Fran. I've had the amazing opportunity of knowing Fran for now it's almost a decade. Thank you for the little mini introduction, and I'm always super excited to kind of step back into the space of getting to talk and like feel the energy of 10KSB and feel the energy of what was at the time Athena Powerlink and is now ANSB, and just feel the energy of peer learning and just like empowering fellow entrepreneurs, and just the excitement of sharing and just lifting each other up as not just entrepreneurs but Philadelphians, and for those of us who are women business owners and minority business owners, like no offense to you straight white guys out there, but like it's just really exciting for everything that we can all do to kind of just help each other. Thanks for everyone who's on the webinar today. So I did have the opportunity to be in both of these programs, and I think leveraging is really the right word, because you gain this leg up on everything by being able, as an entrepreneur, we're so often out there floating out there alone. And I think that there's kind of 2 schools of people who end up being entrepreneurs. There's those of us who kind of our whole lives we were always the go-getters. We were always out there like being the overachievers, and we were always like great at everything we did, and we were like go, and nothing was ever going to stop us. Or we were the people who were always like trying something new, fail, but never let it get us down, trying something new, fail, never let it get us down. And and you fall into one of these camps, but nevertheless you're kind of still always sort of out there, like floating out there alone, and all your friends are doing jobs or they're in careers, right? Your friends are teachers, your friends are lawyers, your friends are, I don't know, they're construction workers, they're whatever they are, they're in careers, they're doing normal jobs. And so you have very little relatability out there. Even your spouses often can't relate to you. And so if you're anything like me, you're pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and you're still floating out there alone constantly. And you're trying to reinvent the wheel every day that you're out there doing your work. And you think you have to figure out all of your problems alone. And so for the first near decade of running my business, I just was always trying to figure out all of these problems. And yeah, sure, maybe I would like search things on the web, or maybe I would read a book or whatever, but it was like so hard all the time. And then I would get in like groups for my industry, and my industry, the professional pet care industry is so niche that, it was like, I mean, talk about horse blinders, and no one was scaling. No one was into scaling, and everyone was so, just, I don't know, it was just not like really business minded. It was like very small minded, if you will. And I knew I was different. And when I finally got into peer-based learning in the 10KSB program, it was like, yeah, nobody was in my industry, but everyone was like-minded. And it was incredible. And so that was the first kind of peer-based learning that I did. And so I know we're here really talking about ANSB. And so, I think it was Abigail who spoke and said, am I double dipping, right, by being on this call? And yes, and that's awesome. You should double dip, because you want to do one type of program and then keep going and keep going, because I would never have known about, a advisory board based program had I not first done 10KSB. So I learned based on the people that I met and the network that I grew in 10KSB. I learned about Athena PowerLink, and I learned about having an advisory panel. And my mind opened up to learning from other people. So I was able to expand and allow for other people's ideas to come in, because I was also very controlling. As an entrepreneur, we think we know best. We think we're the one to control our business the best. And, we're all CEOs. So we are all pretty opinionated people. We're all controlling people, right? Like we are bosses, and we've got boss mentality. And so, mind my mind, right? And so like all of a sudden, like learning to just kind of let that go and to let other people's ideas seep in was incredible. And to like let go and delegate and stand back and go, whoa, all right, other people's ideas and other people being in control, like allows me downtime, allows me to breathe, allows me to have a better staff, allows the concept of team, like allows so many other things, and allows me to grow and increase my revenue and increase, my quality of life personally. Allows me to increase my reach, which is for me, you ask yourself, what is your goal in your business? And whatever your goal is your goal. But for me, my ultimate goal in life is to make the lives of pets and their humans better. So, whatever my revenue is, whatever my profit is, like that's awesome. And yes, I want it to be bigger and higher. But my ultimate goal is that like there are more pets and more humans having better lives out there, right? And so if I can get rich while I make millions of pets and humans having better lives, like higher and better, that's amazing. So if I'm affecting more lives more and more and more because my business, because I've opened my mind up by listening to people who have done more, seen more, experienced more, know more things than me, then I've hit my goal, right? So I did all of that.
Can I ask you, Dina, can you
Yes,
describe
please.
the difference between your business now and what it was like when you first started?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. I mean, so I think most certainly there are revenue increases, and there are profit margin increases. Now, I would love to say that there are staffing increases, but COVID, right? So, so we won't talk about that. Well, pandemic be damned. But, but so I think were there not a pandemic, sure, I would have enormous increases there, and pre-pandemic there were. But confidence, I think, is, we can talk about the non quantifiable differences as well, the qualifiable, if I don't know if that's a word, but those differences most certainly. And I think we talk a lot about the word network, and I think a lot of people have heard the term that network equals net worth, and I think that there's a lot there. And especially in a city like Philadelphia, and I heard a few people on the call saying that they're thinking of moving to Philly, or they have family who lives in Philly and they were thinking of moving here. And Philadelphia is one of the biggest cities in the country, and yet it feels like a small town. Like, we know each other. Knowing people in the city is extraordinarily important. And when you do these programs, you increase your network tenfold, 100-fold. I don't know how big you grow it, but you know people, and they know people, and they know people, and they know people. And it is amazing how many more people I know. And all the time people are like, oh, I saw you. I know your name. I know your face. And like, people who know me, and I'm like, how do you know me? And they're like, I don't know. I saw you somewhere. And my company wins awards, and I'm like, little old me, how do you know? And we've won awards all across the city. And I'm shocked. I can't believe how this happens. And it's all because of people know us. So it's incredible. And, and I did jot down some notes that I wanted to make sure that I brought about, and made sure that I had people. I want to check my notes, because, these connections that you make through these programs are so important. And a few of the things that you brought up in the slides are so important. And one of which that Neil mentioned was the confidentiality. And I think it works both ways. So there's this confidentiality that the board members promise to you, but you have to be willing to be super vulnerable. And I was not a person who ever was willing to open up. Like, as an overachiever, I always felt like I had to present myself as someone who was a winner all the time, who was always doing the right thing and always being quote unquote perfect. And it was very scary to me to present my numbers, even when I was applying for 10KSB. I was terrified to admit that I wasn't yet a $500,000 company. And I knew I was going up against companies that were in the millions, right? And it was like really scary and super intimidating. And when you're applying to a program that says Goldman Sachs, right? And I was like, I have to know everything about money. And I was like, I was this little hippie girl from Mount Airy, like, and it was intimidating. But to admit what I didn't know, and to put it all on the table, and to be super vulnerable, and to say, these are my failures, and then to share that with my growth groups, which is your group that you get put in your 10KSB course, and to say it in front of my advisory board, and to have them give me super honest / critical feedback, and to just sit there and take it, was the most pivotal part of being able to grow and to come out of my year-long program. And now I still have phone calls with my advisors. And for everyone that's watching this webinar, please know that I did my year with my advisory panel in 2016-17. And I'm still in touch with these folks. And I'm still like, hey, can you help me out? Hey,
Well, thank you. I'm going to actually, I'm aware that we're coming closer to the end of our time together, and I want to be sure that our participants have a chance to ask questions. So Neil, I'm going to ask you to follow up with whatever we should say that we've missed, and your experience, and then set us up for our Q&A. Oh, you need to, Jasmine, could you let Neil speak?
No, we're good. We're good. Sorry. Just a couple of points. I don't know that we've missed a lot. I think really we've covered all the basics for you very well. I did want to share just a little bit about my experience. Back in 2007, I started a business along with another person that was a marketing services business. My background is marketing. And when we got into it and proved the business model, we realized that we needed outside help. And unfortunately, at the time, ANSB wasn't around yet. So I had nowhere to turn. So we did the consultant approach. The consultant would come in every other week for 4 hours, $1,000 each time he comes in. And we probably did that for a couple of months because we needed the help. But he was able to help us similar as ANSB does. We needed some help with budgeting to project rapid growth and to really get an understanding of income and outflow. I had to come up with an HR plan for new employees. So if you're going to have rapid growth, you've got to have a first-class benefits program. I had no idea how to get that done. The consultant was able to match us up with someone to do that. I needed some tech help. Again, technology is not my specialty. I can't even unmute myself effectively. So with that being the case, he was able to arrange to get somebody in to help us with our tech setup. And finally, we needed office space. We grew from 3 people initially to 60 in 4 different offices in the course of a 3-year time period. So they were able to help us take that load off my shoulders so we can focus on the business and keep that moving forward. So that is an opportunity for you to get the help you need, but I think ANSB does it much better because you're getting a specialist in 4 to 5 different categories that can really take the lead on covering these areas with you and help you through it, as opposed to one consultant who may or may not be good on HR stuff or may not be all that great on budgeting. So that's certainly an option, but I think the ANSB model really does a nice job of guiding a small to mid-sized business to where they need to be. With that, I'll turn it back to Teresa and we can open it up for Q&A.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it back to Jasmine and say, I think, Jasmine, if you would run the Q&A and our panel will answer questions, that would be great.
For sure,
Would it
we
be okay
do.
if I said one other thing about my time with my advisory board, which was just that I went into it thinking I had one project that I wanted to focus on, and ended up figuring out that I needed to focus on a bunch of other things because they were looking at so many different angles, like Neil just brought up, and that reminded me of that, and that was amazing to have all those different minds coming from so many different professional perspectives, and it was really easy. And I do apologize, I just saw Lorenzo's question. My company is Queenie's Pets, and we are professional dog walking, pet sitting, and we do have a full service pet retail store on Germantown Avenue in Mount Airy. So I'm sorry that I didn't say that in the beginning. That was ridiculous.
It's okay. Did
No
you
problem.
see, I think, Lorenzo, someone just put in a question to the chat.
Yes.
Asking, are there tech advisors on the advisory teams? And the answer, Neil, I'll let you answer.
Tech advisors, was that the?
Yes.
The way we work it for the advisory was once you meet with your mentor and they determine what are the categories of help you need. If we don't have somebody in our ranks who's skilled at technology, we do have people like that in our network, and we would just reach out to them and ask them to participate in it. We've been very successful with doing that. So even for, a very small area that you would think we wouldn't know, have expertise in, we could find those people, and they're more than happy to give back to the community and be a part of this. Again, we're all volunteer and nonprofit, so there's nothing threatening to somebody who's in business right now to assist another company. So if it was technology we needed, we'd identify exactly what the needs were, and we'd find somebody.
Thank you, Neil, for answering that. Also, Joan raised her hand. I'm assuming that was the question, Joan, that you typed in the chat. Can you let us know if that answers your question for you, or if you would like to speak? We're happy to do either. Also, as we're waiting, I want to remind everybody that you can ask your questions live via the raised hand function. You can also use our chat box or Q&A if you'd like to do so anonymously. Q&A box will be great for that as well. All right, Joan did confirm she would like to speak. So let me go ahead and unmute. You should be able to speak.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. No, I asked the question because I know they're difficult to find. And so my particular area is tech and also healthcare. So I just wanted to know, I mean, I know they're very, very difficult to find, but I mean, your networks are broad, so I appreciate that. One other thing I wanted to share, and that's why I wanted to speak, Therese, I knew that I knew you, and I wanted to share this with the group because I worked with Therese at Wharton. I was in the SBDC program, and I'm going back now 7 years ago. But what I want to share is, Therese, I have the most respect for you, and having worked with you then, I think you might have been retiring after that, so I wasn't in touch. But what I want to share, and also I think this would be a benefit to everyone. At the time I worked with Therese, my company was solicited to be bought out by a billion-dollar company, and there were a number of reasons that I wanted to sell at that time. I felt that I couldn't hire enough people, I didn't have a big enough office, several different things. And Therese put me in charge, gave me networks of hers for M&A law firms that would represent a smaller women-owned company. And one of them was Morgan Lewis, who, and I actually dealt with one of the owners who's since passed away, but knew Therese and did this favor for me. And the long story short, he finally advised me, he said, Joan, I've done a million of these all through my life. Don't take the deal. All of these things you can do yourself. You don't need to sell your company. And it was a lot of cash, and I walked away. And now 7 years later, every single one of those things I have accomplished, and I didn't sell the company. But Therese, it was you who put me, I didn't have an M&A law firm of that nature who had that kind of experience. I had a local lawyer, so I just wanted to thank you in person, and also say how important these networks are to a person to be able to reach out and get this very expert experience to guide you through some of these things. So,
well, thank you, Joan. That is just wonderful to hear. I hope we have a chance to reconnect. And I can say one of the things that made it possible when I was at Wharton, and it's very definitely what we do, I know at 10KSB and certainly at ANSB, we are all here just to help the business. There is no ulterior motive. We don't make money. We don't allow you to hire someone who's on your advisory board while they're on your board. So we can give you the best advice, which sometimes is don't take the deal because it's so, but you'll get, at least as I think Neil said early on, you'll get the honest advice of whoever you're dealing with in any of these programs. So thank you, Joan, and congratulations. Over to you, Jasmine. Any more questions?
If I could add on to Joan, you were mentioning technology, and immediately right after you're saying how hard it is to find great tech help, I remember that I found the fourth person in my company was my director of technology. And he was well connected and built up a department of 25 people in the space of 3 years. So, all of us in our networks have the ability to reach out to folks that can assist.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. We currently do not have any questions. So if there's anyone who would like to ask a question to our panelists, if you would like to get involved in any one of the programs mentioned today, Goldman Sachs, ANSB, you have an opportunity to ask questions about anything that was discussed today. So if you could let us know in the chat or raised hand function or Q&A if you have a question. You do have about 10 minutes left. And also, if our panelists had any additional information they wanted to share they didn't have a chance to earlier, feel free to take the time to do so as well.
Great. In about 2 minutes, I'll come back with our final slide, which tells you the next steps you can take to be in touch with us. So I'll wait another minute or two, and if there are no more questions, I will share that slide. Okay.
Yes.
And we might finish a tiny bit.
It might be. No questions just yet. I think you guys
Never
provided so much great information that we're good to go.
Well, I think we definitely did a lot. Let me just slideshow from the beginning, and I'll have to go all the way down here. Here's Adina, and you'll see Queenie's pets, some wonderful pictures of her and her website here, which you'll receive afterwards. Here's Neil's slide, and what you should know is that he is still doing marketing service and some very interesting video kinds of work. And then Q&A, and then how to get started. So one is to visit the ANSB website. And there is a complimentary, very simple preliminary application, which says, I'd like to talk to you, in which case one of us will quickly reach back out to you. Another possibility is to come to an ANSB meet and greet session in person. We're going to give you some details on date, time, and location. A time probably in Center City this time when you're going to be able to come and meet some of us and follow up if you'd like to do that. You can email me directly, so you have my email address. And then so important, I know Fran has put her information in the chat. It's also here. And you have, I believe, and Fran, I think everybody knows you are accepting applications for the next cohort of 10KSB. So if you're interested in that, this is the place to look. Fran, would you add anything there?
Just that, again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. If you think that 10KSB is right for you, you can go right to that website link and fill out an application. And if you want to talk with alums such as Adina, because you want to know if someone in your industry has gone through the program and what they thought of it, I can also connect you with alumni.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I would, now I'm going to stop sharing and promise you that with our good friends at PIDC, we're going to send you an email in the next couple of days that gives you all of this information. And if we don't have more questions, I think we can say thank you for coming. Thank you for your interest, and we all hope to see you again soon.
Yes, thank you. Huge thanks from PIDC to our wonderful panelists and speakers today. Always a pleasure working with you, Trace, Adina, Neil, and Fran. Thank you so much for your time. For those who attended today, I hope you got great information to help you as you move your business forward. And please don't hesitate to reach out to these individuals. As Therese mentioned, we will be sending an email out with their contact information. We'll also share the presentation with you as well. So look for that this week. In addition, we want to remind you that we have more workshops coming up. So don't let this be the last one that you attend. There are many, many ways to grow your business. So we do have workshops coming up for Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business courses. We also have workshop series in Spanish. So if you and/or anyone you know who would like to grow their business and attend workshops who speak Spanish, we do have those available for you as well. It's in the website I placed in our chat. So look out for that. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and let you guys go for the day, give you at least 5 minutes back of your time. We have a special guest, a cat that showed up with Adina. And so thank you. Thank you, everybody. We look forward to seeing you at another upcoming event. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.